Good morning, everyone. My name's Rob Pardo. I'm the Executive Vice President of Game Design at Blizzard Entertainment, and today I'm going to talk to you guys a little about Battle.net, Diablo III, and the Real Money Auction House. So just a little bit of history I want to give you guys first, kind of walk you through kind of the years of old. Battle.net, which was our online matchmaking service, was actually debuted with the original Diablo, it was 15, 16 years ago. And this is what it looked like back then. But one of the things is, back then there were just a few different matchmaking services, and it was kind of what we called the Wild Wild West. It was very easy to cheat. There wasn't really any concept of client-server models. People would go into the game and find all kinds of cheats and do things like kill other players through bombing entire towns and all kinds of other nastiness. But despite the fact that Battle.net could be a tough place to play on, at least with the unwashed masses, it was still incredibly fun, especially if you played with your friends. I remember playing with people at my work just on a LAN or on Battle.net just with each other, and the game really became very exciting and fun with co-op gameplay. Going to Diablo II, it's what we call the Wild Wild West, but only slightly less wild. We learned a few lessons. Before you actually could go into a game and kill someone else, you had to declare hostility first, which was a lot better. We also added a client-server model to the game so that it was much harder to cheat the game or duplicate items or things like that. But there were still a lot of things that we were learning, for example, having to do with just the economy of items. One of the things within Diablo 3, with the Diablo series, is the game is always had a very robust item economy, and that's because all the items are randomized. But what would happen is, because there was really no easy way to trade with players would actually trade within the chat screen, and then they would also, because we didn't do a great job back then of making the virtual economy work real well with gold, players pretty much had unlimited gold supplies, so they kind of created their own item economy around these items called Stones of Jordan, which were these really powerful items that any character class could use. So instead of trade items for gold, they would just trade them for Stones of Jordan, and they kind of created their own economy within the game, which I kind of consider a failure on our part to provide them with a way to trade with each other and with kind of a viable virtual gold economy. So, there's definitely a lot of areas for improvement. One of the areas also within Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 was that if you played single player, you would actually be playing the game on your own hard drive, which meant that if you want to take that character online, we couldn't allow you to do it because that would allow you to kind of cheat your character up and then have a cheated character. So the only way you'd have an online character is to play exclusively online. Another thing was because people could create as many characters as they want, as many accounts as they wanted, we had to put a restriction on player characters where, if you didn't play your character for 3 months, we would actually erase the character, which ended up just being kind of a horrible thing for the longevity of the game, because oftentimes we'd find players would, after a few months or even after a couple years, come back and want to play the game again, and all their characters were wiped out. It was also very hard to find friends. We didn't have concepts like friends lists. There was no matchmaking services, etc. So some of the things that we really want to be able to do with Diablo 3 is make sure that you are always connected to your friends. And that means having a persistent friends list and having cross-game chat. For those of you that don't know, with StarCraft 2, we went ahead and introduced a new feature called Real ID, which allows you, has one united Battle.net account across all of our games, and you can actually build a friends list with people with your real identity, not just with an identity within each of the games itself. So this has been a great feature for us because we found that within the Blizzard online community, a lot of players play multiple games. And we see this especially when we do our big annual convention at BlizzCon, is that we don't really have just a World of Warcraft community or a StarCraft community or a Diablo community. We have a Blizzard community. So it's really great then that our players that are playing StarCraft 2, but they might be in a World of Warcraft guild, they can communicate with each other. So one of the reasons why this is really important for Diablo 3 is Diablo 3 will be the first game that we've launched where you're going to get the game, and if you've interacted with any of our previous games, you'll instantly have a friends list. You know, if you just kind of imagine in most games that you play, you go online and you have to kind of build friends from scratch. You know, within the Blizzard community now, and because of the persistent friends list, all of your WoW friends are going to be instantly in your Diablo friends list and all of your StarCraft friends. So another big thing that we want to do with Diablo 3 is make it online only. And we've gotten a little bit of grief from the gamer community on this, but we really think this is going to be a huge advantage for Diablo 3 because, again, when I mentioned back to what happened with Diablo 1 and 2, you would get these characters and you'd play single player at first, but then you would go online and you wouldn't be able to use those characters online. So what we're going to allow you to do is you can still play by yourself. We're not forcing you to have to play with other players. You just have to play on our servers. What that means is that you can play as long as you want by yourself, but you're still connected to our servers, which means that if you do want to play with your friends, you can use the character you've been building up. It also means, and I'll get to the auction house a little more in a moment, it means that if you get a really powerful item playing by yourself, we now have that character on our servers and that item on our servers, so if you want to put it up for sale in the auction house or you want to buy other items, you're already online and you don't have to suddenly make a new character from scratch. So we kind of have this concept which we've called play together, stay together. And really what that means is we found that when players already are playing with pre-existing friends, or even if you make some friends online for the first time, you really want to be able to stay with those friends. So we've really looked a lot at kind of the features of the game in the friends list so that once you're in a group with your friends, you can just go in and out of all the different games within Diablo 3. You can play in PvP, you can play in different chapters in the game, you can play in different difficulty modes, and we keep that party persistent the whole time. So some of the other things that we've kind of put in to really allow you to play with your friends and have a good time is a public game finder. So if you do want to fill up your game with other people that want to play, it's really easy to do that. We also have a matchmaking system for PvP. And why that's really important is because I think most people that have played online games have had the experience where, it's like, oh, I want to try this out, I'm going to log on for the first time, and you get smashed inside of 3 seconds, and then you never want to play again. So what we found, and we've really been working hard on matchmaking systems really since Warcraft 3, and I feel like we've gotten really good at it now. If any of you have played StarCraft 2, you can see how far we've come and how easy it is to find a match with someone of your skill level, and you don't have that experience that you might have had in the past. So we're really taking all that technology and all those learnings into Diablo 3 for PvP also. And then we also want to have a real dynamic co-op play component, going back to that concept of playing together and staying together. If you're playing single player and someone just wants to join in your game, they can join in right on the fly. And suddenly your friend's in the game with you, and we automatically change the difficulty of the game so that it's fun for multiple players. And that goes the other direction too. So if you're playing with a party of 4 people and then people drop out because they have to go to dinner or they're going to jump into a WoW raid, the game automatically, dynamically adjusts its difficulty. So we really want you to have that sense that if you're in, let's say a 1, 2, or 3 hour game session, that you might have people coming in and out of the game the whole time, and you don't have to quit the game and restart the game from scratch again. So another feature that we think is really going to add to the persistence of the game and a lot of the fun of the game is the banner system. So this is a system that really just kind of shows your play style within Diablo 3 and also shows kind of some of the things you've achieved within the game, and allows for a little bit of customizability too. So this kind of gives you a little bit of a breakdown of an example of what this character has done. So you can see this person has played a lot of PvP because of kind of the skull at the top. It shows all their different achievements, shows what difficulty, shows that they're a hardcore player, and also allows them to kind of customize their banner a little bit. So this will really be a great way for you to kind of look at your different friends on Battle.net, and it'll be great bragging rights and allow you, again, a little bit of customizability within the game too.